Hi, I'm maryjo with Fourth Dimension Healing in Stillwater, Minnesota, and I'm also the director of the Center for Crystal and Healing Studies, which is my online school. Through the Center for Crystal and Healing Studies, you can explore a wide variety of courses on energy healing, crystal healing. I have a crystal healer certification program, as well as courses that can help support your spiritual growth and development. I offer free mini courses that help you begin to touch into some of the offerings that I have available and help you perhaps get a better sense of what direction you may want to go. I also offer fee-based courses, so take a look at those. The links are below this video. Today I wanted to talk with you a little bit about how do we attune to healing gemstones and crystals. Of course, there's a plethora of books available that can help us have a sense of the healing properties that a variety of gemstones and crystals can offer. And yet, ultimately, it really does come down to us working with the stones individually to find out how it is that they are best supporting our healing of body, mind, and spirit. So I brought 3 stones today that I wanted to talk with you about a little bit to give you a sense of how to connect with them. It does not need to be a complicated process. And if you've heard me in any of my other videos, you do know that one of the things I really want to do is demystify how to work with crystals and gemstones. I find it really helpful when I'm working with gemstones and crystals for healing purposes, and particularly when I'm getting to understand and know the inherent properties and gifts that those stones bring me, that I just work with one stone for several days at a time. Of course, it doesn't mean that we can't perhaps carry or wear some of the other stones, but I find personally that I like to really spend time with just that particular stone. So one of the stones I brought to show you today is a piece of clear quartz. And clear quartz, again, if you've seen some of my other videos, is a gemstone or crystal that resonates with the storm element. And storm is a very transformational type of energy. And so when I'm attuning to this type of a stone that resonates with the storm element, I actually bring the concept of storm into the process. My recommendation is when you are attuning to gemstones or crystals that you have a notebook or a journal where you can make note of what you're experiencing as you're working with the stone. And then also you'll be able to add to that as you move, let's say, throughout several days or a week or so. So when I'm working with a gemstone, the first thing I'm going to want to do is to make sure that it is energetically cleansed. And to do that, you can do it in a wide variety of ways. One of the ways I really do like to cleanse stone is through prayer and intention, by placing the whole stone in my hand, covering it, and then placing it at my heart and spending a few moments with intention that all the energies that may have accumulated in the gemstone that are not inherent within its natural state to simply be released, so that then I am working with a fully cleansed gemstone. You may want to set it out in the sunshine or in the moonlight. That's fine too. There are ways to cleanse the stone by perhaps setting it in rice or setting it in salt. I'm a little hesitant to do much with the salt because sometimes the salt can actually damage softer crystals. So I find that working with intention and prayer is a beautiful way, and of course I don't have to be concerned about the hardness of any of the particular gemstones and potentially damaging them in the cleansing process. And I would say that would also be true for using water to cleanse gemstones and crystals. So after we have cleared the gemstone or crystal of those lower energetic energies that have perhaps shifted in, then what I will do is I'll hold it in my hand, very similar to what I was doing before. And this time, what I would like to have you consider doing is to bring your awareness the gemstone or crystal that you are holding in your hand. I find placing it in my non-dominant hand to be really helpful. So if you are left-hand dominant, you may want to place it in your right hand, and you can experiment with that. Once you have the stone placed in the hand that you're going to hold it, I do encourage you to close your eyes and go into your heart space and breathe several slow, easy breaths. This helps us settle into more of that relaxed state, so we're less likely to be thinking about things outside of the process that we're doing. Setting any of those exterior thoughts and worries and concerns aside for a little while so that you can spend time with your stone and really quality 100% focus as much as possible. As you're bringing your awareness to your stone, bring your awareness to what it is that you're noticing about the stone. Become familiar with its weight. What kind of an energy are you sensing? If you're visual, you may be seeing through your inner eye a sense of light or shifting or sparkles. You may see images. It could be that if you're more likely to hear guidance, you will hear something, or you might sense through your feeling, or sometimes you'll just know, you'll just get information that tells you that you've connected with that stone. So what we want to do is connect with the stone and then allow ourselves to, through our heart, connect with the inner aspect of the stone. Stones are sentient, even though their sentience and their sense of being is vastly different than ours as human beings. However, we do really resonate with the minerals and chemicals and the structures that are contained within the gemstones. So spend a few moments getting to know the stone spirit. You can ask it questions. You can ask it to present itself in a particular way. And it could be that you have an image of a being. It could be that you have a word. You could have a sense of a color. Allow this entire process to help you connect with the gemstone. Because the first thing you're doing is developing a relationship with the stone, and it will continue as you work with the stone through other healing meditations that you will be in partnership with the stone as you're moving through healing. So if I am able to connect with this particular piece of quartz, which is a storm element crystal, for transformational purposes, I'll be connecting with the quartz, this particular piece. However, it will vary from time to time depending on if I'm bringing this quartz into healing for a physical reason or an emotional reason, or if I'm working on mental healing or spiritual healing. So this is an example of how to gently get to know your crystal. Again, we're talking about attuning the energies and vibrations of the crystal, not the actual deep work that will come and arise as you do that, which is separate. Now, another stone I have to work with to show you is a piece of ruby. So ruby is a very strong earth element stone. So when I am resonating with wanting to get to know this particular piece of ruby, I will, again, make sure it's energetically cleansed. Then I'm going to bring my awareness to my heart, holding it in my left hand because I am right hand dominant. I hold it in my left hand, and I allow myself to center and focus and connect from my heart to the stone. Because it's earth element, I notice that the energy comes through differently than it does when I'm working with a high frequency storm element stone. So notice, how does your earth element stone present to you? Is it, if you're hearing tones, are they deeper tones compared to a higher pitch? Let's say if you're working with a different element, is it, are the colors more earthy, or are the colors very sparkly? So just notice what you're noticing, but we do want to connect with each stone prior to working with them. Now, you may have a piece of ruby. You may have 3 pieces of ruby. Make sure that when you're working with those stones, you do that connection, that attuning piece to each individual piece of ruby. Because even though they're all part of the same species, just like us as humans, we all have different characteristics and we have different gifts and different ways that we present ourselves. Your varying piece of the same stone will present differently. This is where your journal or notebook comes in handy, because you can actually write down, how big is this stone? Is this a tiny piece of ruby, or is this a larger piece of ruby? So that you're really making note of which gemstone or crystal you're actually attuning to, so that if that's the one you're going to work with, you're really clear on it. An example of working with wind is with this lovely piece of labradorite. And we're going to cleanse it energetically. So we've removed any debris that's kind of crept in or that it may have been exposed to. Perhaps you have just received the gemstone, then definitely you'll want to clear it so that you can clear it of all the experiences and energetics that it has experienced on its way to your home. Bringing it into your hand, going into your heart space. And because this wind has this ability to really clear out, it actually is a very, very fluid kind of whooshing and clearing out. Don't be surprised if these gemstones that align with the wind element actually present in images or thoughts or words or sounds that really remind you in some ways of the clearing process that a breeze or a wind will blow through. Working with labradorite, for example, as you clear it, as you become familiar with its particular frequency, again, ask it, what does it bring to you? How will it help support you? And how will it present to you so that you can then tap into that particular piece of labradorite when you are working on a particular healing need? As you move through the gemstones and crystals you have, if you have a number of them, you can see that it'll take a while to be able to move through all of your gemstones and crystals to attune to each of them. And so take your time. You can certainly energetically cleanse a whole table full at the same time. And another way to really easily clear gemstones is to tone, whether you are using chimes or a singing bowl, whether you're using your voice to tone, and the tone doesn't have to be pretty. What you're doing is toning with the intention that as that sound comes out of you, it is moving through the gemstones and crystals, it is clearing them. So you can clear a number of gemstones or crystals at the same time, but when it comes to attuning to them, I really encourage you to work with one every few days so that you really get a chance to sit with its gifts, its energies, and its blessings. So feel free to take a look at the links below this video. If you have questions, you can shoot me an email. You can send me a chat through my webpage, and I will get back to you with some thoughts and perhaps some ideas as to how to help you navigate through your experiences. Take a look at subscribing to this button if you'd like to continue to be notified of when I have another video that I roll out. And at this point, I just really wish you many blessings as you continue to explore how to work with your gemstones and crystals in a mutual relationship so that you are able to really open fully to what they have to offer for healing. Be well.